To the Semi-Pro Film Show. We're watching
or
our
as I
way
like
through
to call it, the 67 film show, mustard on that semi-pro thing.
67 to a mustard on that thing?
James Bondage.
You wanted to open with a story about a
I
time you
did.
were
I had this funny little story, little interaction I had. I was at this restaurant recently, and small little local place, and waitress, sweet, lovely little lady. She comes up to me to ask for my order, and she's in kind of a huff, complaining about her last customers. All of them had been ordering off the menu, and she's complaining about that. She's like, yeah, fucking five of the same people from the last table tried to order off the menu, and she kept telling them, it's only stuff on the menu. But as she's complaining about this, she's itching her ass. So I go, yo, girl, do you have hemorrhoids? And she goes, dude, I just told you only stuff that's on the menu. So welcome back to the Semi-Pro Film Show.
So
we watched
a bear
Die
walks
Another...
into a bar, and he walks up to the bartender and he says, I'll have a rum and Coke. The bartender looks at the bear and he says, dude, why the big paws? And he looks down at his hands and he says, I don't know, my dad had them too.
I got one more. It's kind of a long one, but it's worth it. So there's this guy. He's like this horrible sex pest, like not like bad, like criminal sex pest, just like
okay, yeah, just a pervert,
just like he's like a pervert, like he's
but not
like
a pedophile pervert,
not like a pedophile, or even not even like a sexual assault kind of pervert. Like he frequents this whorehouse, like he's like a sex addict.
It's
like
crazy that the standard for sex pest is not into kids these days, but anyway.
Right. But so he's a regular at this whorehouse, and he's been there forever. The maiden like knows him by name. He's ran through all the prostitutes there, all the ladies of the evening.
This boy's tight with his pimp.
Yeah, well, when it's a whorehouse, they're called maidens, because it's usually a woman that runs the whorehouse. But I digress. So he's like, he's kind of just like chilling there, and he's talking to the maiden. He's like, yeah, I've kind of had my fill with all these ladies. Like there's nothing special here. And she's like, hold your horses, mister. I've got something that you might love. We've got this new girl that's great. I'm gonna set you up with a room. I'm gonna send her up. So he goes up to the room. Lady comes in, and he's pretty ambivalent about it. He's
mustard on that thing.
He's mustarding on that thing, but she comes in, and she's like, hey baby, what's up, all that. And he's like, yeah, I like you're pretty and all, but what do you have that's special that you have to offer? And she's like, well, I've got all the standards, all the hits, but also my special thing is that I and this woman, she's got a glass eye. So she takes out the glass eye, and she goes, the way I really get off, and like you can do anything to me, but what really gets me going is I like it in the eye hole, and he's like, that's weird, that's bizarre, but he's a freak, he's a pervert, so he's like, obviously I'm going to try this. And he,
who wouldn't?
Who wouldn't? I mean, yeah. So he does it. He hits that shit. Craziest sex of his life. Fucking like he busts in that eye hole. Fucking cream pies it, come drooping out the eye, crying cum type shit. Like it real quick. And he's like, holy shit, that was incredible. This was probably the best sex of my life. Like, I can't believe it. Are you a regular here? Are you going to be here again? and she she cleans out her eye, pops the eye back in. She goes, yeah, baby, I'll keep an eye out for you.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Ah,
We watched Die Another Day, the worst
yeah.
James Bond movie. The movie's
The
so
best the
bad.
best James Bond movie with Halle Berry.
That's fair. Unequivocally, the James Bond movie that is so bad that it sent a 40-year franchise into a full reboot.
Right? True. Yeah.
Um,
That happened.
and
For only 4 years later, too.
4 years later, full reboot for James Bond, and Daniel likes it.
I do. I like it a lot. It's very fun. I don't remember anything about it, but maybe that's
I
why I
hate
like it,
it
even just having watched
so
it. But
much.
yeah,
But yeah, we're we're we're
yeah.
we're, we're gonna be fair. We're gonna be fair. Before we get into this, send this to someone you know who likes diamonds. Feels like a
Sure,
fair
sure,
one.
yeah.
Um,
Send this to someone you know who has one eye.
mm.
Send this to someone who is Asian.
Send this to someone you know who I'm trying to think of a tasteful way to say this. Who likes black girls?
Right. Send this to, if you know Sean Penn, send this to him.
If you know Sean Penn, send this to him with the text they want you on the podcast.
Right. If you know Sean Bean, also, he wasn't in
Also,
this movie, but he was in a different architect Bond movie.
if you know
Send this
Pierce
to Sean
Brosnan, go ahead
Bean.
and send this to
Yeah.
him and just say, "Hey, what's up?
The
Dalton wants to let you fuck his eye hole."
right, and also call him the architect.
Mm-hmm.
Send this to
Your mother.
John Cena. Oh,
Go ahead and send this to your mother. She hasn't heard from
yeah,
you in
I
a while.
guess.
This would be a
Hmm.
fun way for you guys to bond. You listen through this whole thing. She
I
listens through it. You
guess.
guys talk about it.
Yeah.
Go ahead and send this to someone you know who escaped from North Korea.
Okay. Go ahead and send this to someone
Didn't
who
escape North
likes
Korea.
who send this to someone who likes Zack Snyder's Man of Steel,
Or 300.
specifically specifically someone who likes Man of Steel because it's a Jesus allegory.
Yeah, there's some of that in this. Yeah, send
There's
this
there's a bit
to
of
an
that.
older British woman.
Yeah, send this to someone who's parachuted out of a plane.
Go ahead and send this podcast to a plane. If you're on a plane, go ahead and just airdrop this to everyone whose airdrop
If
is
you're on a
open.
plane, go ahead and say that you have a bomb.
Don't do that. That might be a little far. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably
So
shouldn't, but
Die Another
let's
Day.
get into it.
I want to talk for a moment about like the build up because what we've done is we've watched one movie from each Bond actor,
Right.
and I do wish we had picked a different one for Brosnan, just because I wish we had a
Sure.
better representation of
Yeah.
Brosnan for Bond.
Because yeah, I mean,
Now
throughout
you've
this
seen them
movie, we
all,
kept.
right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I probably have. The only ones I remember are this one, Goldeneye, and the one where he has the cool jacket, Tomorrow Never Dies.
Okay, yeah. My
So
favorite one
that's like
is
half
the
of that.
world, or no, I like the world. I like Tomorrow Never Dies and the World Is Not Enough. Anyway, um, in my opinion, and that doesn't mean much. I'm a younger
Right.
guy. I'm not anymore, but at one point I was a younger guy.
Hmm.
In my opinion, Brosnan does the best job of balancing the old school kind of goofy, satirical almost,
Hmm.
that version of Bond with the newer idea of a more serious kind of cool Bond. I don't know
A
how else you
more, yeah,
describe it. Action
a more
oriented.
modern action movie kind of less stereotypical kind of because at a certain point, after a couple of the Bond movies, the Bond character kind of became a stereotype. Like it
I mean,
became
yeah, and
a
then especially
caricature,
this movie is post like Austin Powers, which really kind of
right? At
satirized
least one of
Bond.
them, yeah.
And in my opinion, like Pierce Brosnan does the perfect job of balancing that kind of classic Bond with the more modern, serious Bond, which we'll get later on, and we also
Hmm.
had with Timothy Dalton.
Right, right.
So because of that, I think Pierce Brosnan is the perfect Bond. I think Pierce Brosnan is the best Bond overall. I think he balances all of those things so well that he becomes the perfect Bond. Also, just the
Right, right.
majority of his
He's
movies
kind
are
of just
cool. Like,
yeah, he's the coolest Bond probably. Like
I mean,
he's the most believable Bond
I
in that he looks attractive enough that all these ladies would want to sleep with him, which I never bought with any of the other ones, and
I
maybe
don't
that's just
know.
me,
Yeah,
but
I kind of just buy it because I don't know. British people are all kind of ugly.
sure. But yeah, he's I mean, yeah, maybe the British standards for attractive are lower,
What I will
but
say, and
but Brosnan, he's attractive by American
that's
standards, so
fair. Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
you know,
I think Bond is one of those like it's one of those franchises that's been going for so long, and I think Brosnan brings something very refreshing to the role that we haven't seen.
sure,
In that he's the first one who's far enough removed from the start of this franchise where he can be like, okay, I want to reinvent it.
right,
Um,
right.
and I think we're kind of due for that. I think the next Bond will probably kind of do that to an extent.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Um, but you compare the two Bonds that came before and after Brosnan. So you've got Timothy Dalton, who was like, okay, I'm gonna make this kind of more serious and dark and brooding and
Yes.
like the movie itself was goofy, but Bond was played straight.
Right. It
And
was
then
yeah,
you've got
he was much less quippy. It was much less of a focus on his womanizing, silly kind of guy caricature that had been established.
and
Yeah.
then with Craig, it's the same thing, but the movie is the same way. Like the movie
Right.
itself is that. And
Hmm.
Brosnan kind of sits in the middle as this just perfect balance of the old and the new, and it doesn't take itself too seriously. But this
I mean,
movie,
certainly not. This one certainly does not take itself
well, that's kind
seriously.
of where I'm getting. Like this movie just takes that and it's like, okay, cool. We're gonna make a James Bond parody, but it's a mainline James Bond movie.
Right. And James Bond, he's still like, I mean, you don't like this movie because it's silly and it's because it's campy and it's ridiculous, but James Bond throughout it, he's still James Bond. Like
No,
he's
I will say the best part of this movie.
it's the Michael Bay Turtles thing, right? Where it's the characters are exactly the same.
It's
They're just
fair. That's
it's
fair.
just
Yeah.
in this universe where it's completely different. Like it's
The best
completely
part.
removed from
It's also it's the same thing with like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, Michael Bay
right,
Turtles, both great
sure.
examples. Like the best part of this movie is James Bond.
Right.
It's still not a great movie, and it really, in my opinion, doesn't make up for the fact that it's as bad as it is. Like
Sure,
I think
sure.
once again, let's compare this to both Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man and Michael Bay Turtles. The Michael Bay Turtles movies, I think, are great to watch if you like Ninja Turtles because the Ninja Turtles are great despite the fact that the movies aren't great. TASM 2,
Mhm.
I would never recommend to anyone, despite the fact that it might be the best on screen characterization of Spider Man because the movie is
Right.
so bad it's not worth it.
It's shit.
This kind of falls into that for me, where
Kind of.
while James Bond's great, it doesn't make up for it in my opinion. I don't
See, I think this movie's very very fun, and maybe it's because I'm not a huge Bond fan, so
Mm.
I don't have the same standard that you have.
Well, the
But
thing about James Bond is the franchise as a whole, you watch through them all, it's not overwhelmingly great. There are some
right,
really great movies in it. Casino
hmm,
Royale, GoldenEye,
sure.
Goldfinger, Live and Let Die. There's some really great movies in the Bond franchise. It's just this one happens to be the worst of them all.
Maybe, but it's got Halle Berry in it.
It does have
You
Halle
like
Berry in it.
You like Halle
I
Berry?
love her.
You love her.
A few small beers.
A few small Halle Berries.
Um,
Let's get into the plot
yeah.
of
Why,
this
why don't
film.
you
So
kick us off?
it opens up in James Bond is surfing into North Korea, which already, I mean,
It sounds cooler than it is.
it does, and you called it a boring cold open, but it quickly got very cool
Yeah,
just
well,
because of how
it was
long it
boring at the
was.
beginning. You agreed with me because you said
For
verbatim,
sure,
you were
yeah. Well,
like, "I'm about to fall asleep."
it was like 5 minutes of just like these three guys surfing in on wetsuits. I don't remember who the other two guys were. It didn't really matter, but
Two or three small guys.
so they surf in. One of them is James Bond. They get to this um some base in North Korea, which is run by Diamond Face, who's not Diamond Face
Well,
yet, or
and
maybe isn't
he's
he? Maybe
the
he isn't even Diamond Face. I don't know.
well, it's the son of the general of the North Korean army.
Right.
He's the
And
corporal or cadet or
James
something.
Bond is, yeah, it doesn't matter. James Bond, he's undercover as someone who's pretending to be selling diamond or trading diamonds to
He's
them.
trading diamonds for information, I think.
Something,
Is kind of the
yeah.
plot of this. He gets figured out quickly.
Very quickly, yeah. They
Which leads into a really cool chase. He's no.
super cool.
He's selling
There's
diamonds for military equipment.
That's what it is, yeah.
Because that's where the airboat comes into play.
Right, right.
The
And
airboat that's
then
on
they
land.
Yeah, it didn't really make a bunch of air
Air
tanks really
tanks
because they
on
had these
land. Yeah.
mounted guns, but
I don't know
yeah, there's a bunch
what
of these.
constitutes a tank.
I don't know, it being bulky and having a big gun on it.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
But
So the air tanks, James Bond. There's a cool chase in the open with the air
very cool.
tank.
You can't really tell. A bunch of the tanks keep blowing up, and you keep thinking it's James Bond because they all look the same.
It's probably my favorite scene in the movie, especially action. It's my favorite action
Maybe,
scene in the
yeah.
movie for sure. Um, towards the end of this, once again, this is still the cold open, long cold open, 15
Super
minutes.
long cold open, yeah. One of the
Normally they're like
longest, yeah.
five at max.
Right.
James Bond kills the son of the general, and the general basically says like, "Hey, I'm gonna have my revenge on you for killing my son." Which leads us into our opening credits, and our opening credits of this
Right.
movie.
And this is, yeah, very, very interesting opening credits. You didn't like them because you don't like the song
I
and
did
also
not
didn't
like
like
the
the
opening
opening
credits.
credits.
I hate the
I feel
song.
like you were also talking shit about the visuals, I feel like.
No,
I thought they were kind of
That was
cool. Oh,
Bobbin
was it?
who
Okay.
really hated the visuals. I didn't
Yeah. I
hate
thought the
them.
visuals were pretty fun.
What I
The song
did
was great,
like, I hated the
but
song.
yeah,
I like the fact that it tied
the
in with the plot.
it yeah, basically the song, which this is very non-standard for James Bond
Madonna.
opening songs. Well, that, but also the intro song was, it was showing the because there was a time skip. It was like a year or so, and
14
it was
months.
showing the story of what was happening to James Bond, which was basically just him being tortured in a North Korean prison.
Right.
But but it was like we were seeing that, and then it was kind of fading into the cutting into the different, weird
The
visual
fire
stuff,
women, the ice
bunch of
women.
women, bunch of fire, bunch of ice, pretty standard James Bond stuff, but more modern and whatever. Shitty visuals, I will say, but a cool idea.
It was a cool idea, and I like that it tied in with the plot. I wish the song was better. You even said like it
I
doesn't
like
feel like.
it certainly doesn't feel like it just felt like a Madonna song,
Yeah, and
but
even
because it
then, it was a
was,
weak
but
Madonna song at
right,
that.
not one of her best,
Um,
but I liked
it
it. I
feels
thought it
like
was
every other
fun.
beat is missing in the music, but that might just be me.
Yeah, I didn't fully get that, but to each his
I
own.
guess I'll die another
Another
day.
day. But yeah, so we get through that, and then we see James Bond with his silly long hair and beard.
Which Bobbin thought it was a bad wig. I think it's actually a great wig. I don't
I thought it was
know.
a solid wig. I thought it was a little too long for how long he was meant to be there with his
Certainly
hair.
that, yeah, it was certainly too long for how long he was supposed to. 14 months hair growth. That's what I'm sitting at. I'm sitting at 14 months hair growth currently, and my
Right.
hair was not as short as Pierce Brosnan's.
Yeah. He had a
He was high and tight, man.
yeah. So
He'll
so
have it
yeah,
the
we
rest of the
see
movie. He'll have the same cut.
right. It's
So
the exact same haircut he had at the beginning, but yeah, so we see he's marched out into the square. They're like making some exchange for was
for
it
Diamond
Diamond
Face, yeah,
Face?
it was for Diamond
Yeah,
Face. They found him, but it wasn't real. It was a fake out, right? We'll
right.
find out
Yeah,
later.
we'll get there. We'll get there.
Fake Diamond Face goes back. James Bond goes to M. M's like, hey, I really should have left you, but I didn't.
Right.
Because we needed more information on Diamond Face or something. I don't particularly know why she traded him in. She doesn't really say other than the fact that she says she didn't want to.
Because the plot had to happen, I guess.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's the big thing with this movie is every single scene feels like this had to happen, so we let it happen. And there's some easy ways to write around it. Like James Bond could have escaped the Korean prison. That's how I would have done it.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, you kept saying this should have been he escaped on his own and went rogue from
which
MI6
feels
and
like
was
it
doing his own
in the
thing.
modern day. That feels like a classic James Bond plot because that's what Daniel Craig
Right.
did every movie.
Sure.
In 2000, at this point though, like he had rarely done that. Like he was kind of the government man, and it would have
Mhm.
made this movie so much better had this movie been James Bond kind of goes on his own, goes rogue, because they were willing to trade him or because they weren't willing to get him back. Like that would have been such a cool.
Right. And it would have made more sense because M even said they wanted to keep Diamond Face to get more information out, so it's like they wouldn't be willing to trade him for Jimmy. So he would have had to break out on his own and then kind of be resentful, going on his own crusade against them, yada yada yada, plot ensues. But instead
He shaves his beard.
he shaves his beard, and then
He cuts
um
his hair.
he cuts his hair perfectly to the exact same haircut he had before. Some lady comes into his room and he sleeps with her. She's evil, but we don't know that yet.
To be
Um,
honest, I didn't know she came back. So
that was the one that got Art of War at the end by Halle
really
Berry.
did not know that.
Yeah, yeah. The two Bond girls fought at the end. You didn't catch that,
No, I
but
didn't.
but
But
yeah,
but yeah,
she
she
yeah.
she this movie just falls apart for me so
I don't
much.
I don't remember I don't remember where it goes from
I think
there.
well that's the thing, and we can just kind of talk to the plot of this where we don't remember the details. The plot
Mhm,
of this movie is so convoluted and makes so little sense. You go
what?
back to man, we were in the exact same state of inebriation 3 weeks ago
Mhm.
when we watched The Man with the Golden Gun.
Right.
And that
That and
movie,
that plot seems so simple now, you know?
well,
It seems
yeah,
so
it's
quaint.
like this one is
Seems so easy to
so,
follow. This is nonsense.
and it makes sense to me. Like it seems harsh to be like, oh, this is the movie that launched Bond into a full reboot after 40
Right. But it
years.
does. It makes sense. And I'm saying that and I do like this movie
Yeah,
as corny and silly and stupid and shitty as it is. It's fun, I thought.
but
But
it
it's
is like,
nonsense. It's nothing.
yeah, and it kind of it hits the perfect.
It's all sauce, no
I'm gonna
flavor.
coin a phrase here. I'm gonna
Okay.
high franchise exertion.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
when a film franchise gets to this point where it's really popular, so you can't change anything,
Right. Sure. Yeah.
but there's nothing left to do. Right? Like James Bond has gotten to this point at
He's done everything at this
he's
point.
done
He's been to
everything,
space, he's done Asian face. What else is there?
but you can't change anything. You've
Right.
gotta constantly, it's the MCU thing where you've gotta
Hmm.
constantly top the
You
last thing.
stick to the formula while also one upping it. Yeah.
Right. But when you keep one
Hmm.
upping it, it gets a little less interesting every
Hmm.
time. And that's Bond at this point. Like, there's literally nothing left to do. Like you,
So I think at this point of the plot, it's we're introduced to um the other white guy who's a
yeah,
bad
yeah.
guy, but we don't know that yet. We'll get there. He
More,
jumps at
it's more
he's
British James Bond is what I'm calling him.
right. He jumps out of the plane on his way to be knighted, and he's got the Union Jack parachute, which I guess is a classic James Bond thing. You said I didn't know that,
Yeah,
but
several of the, especially the Roger Moore movies. I think he's got it in a couple of those. One of the,
right. That's what I used to drive the Roger Moores about, and
right, he's got it in at least one of the Sean Connery movies.
sure, that's what I used to drive the Sean Connerys about in.
Um, yeah, but this guy Josh was telling us he voiced James Bond in a couple video game or audiobooks, I should say, which of course Josh would know
Yeah,
that.
right. Fucking nerd.
Um, he looks very smug. To be honest,
He looks like what I said, and I stand by. He looks like British Patrick Bateman,
that's fair.
specifically Christian Bale, Patrick Bateman, of
He
course.
he also looks
Although
like
even is
young
it
Roger Moore, I could see.
I guess I don't
He's got the
fully know
same
what
kind
he
of hair
looks like,
color as
but
Roger Moore and that kind of
yeah,
thing.
I
Um
could see it. Yeah,
so he's going to be knighted. We learned that from Josh.
right. Well,
Um
he says that to some lady. I just didn't fully pick up on it till Josh said it. But yeah, at some point he ends up back at his crib. James Bond is there, and they
they
have a
sword
little
fight.
fencing duel, which
It
turns
starts fencing
into
and then it turns into an actual sword fight. One of them
just a
picks up a
straight up.
katana.
Yeah, yeah, that was
It's
evil James
it
Bond.
should be cool, but it's really lame.
I thought it was all right. It had some good moments. I liked when they just kept smashing into random things around his house and just breaking them. That was fun.
That I guess is another problem I have with this movie is that scene is in Moonraker with Roger Moore, the
Is
fencing
it?
scene, and it's way cooler in that movie. A
Mm,
lot of this movie is done in other Bond movies, which goes back to the fact that like this is late stage franchise fatigue.
right.
But
They've done all this
they've
before.
done
Yeah,
it,
they've played these games before.
and more interestingly,
Sure, sure.
um and without the sauce. Like this movie doesn't have the
Right.
sauce. I think is
When
probably
is when is Halle Berry introduced?
next
She's at the
couple of
beach.
scenes,
Is this the
man.
next? Is this the bit after? Because
Yeah, cause
at
yeah,
some
James
point,
Bond's got the
James
drink, and it's
Bond,
got the
James,
leaves in
the yeah,
it.
the big, like multiple big old leaves.
Not like garnished, like they're actual
No, it's just
leaves,
like most of the drink is just leaves. Yeah.
and not like a little mint leaf. Like it's like a tree
Right.
leaf. I don't know what he's drinking, but I want
No
one.
clue, but I guess. But so he's spying. He's looking out on. He's looking through his binoculars at the ocean. He sees Halle Berry walking up all slutty and sexy like.
She got them titties out, dude.
Right. And then he pretty much immediately sleeps with her,
Oh,
right?
dude,
Like
it like a
right off
scene
the bat.
ends. They're in his
Like
hotel
he
room.
he goes up, says hi to her, then it just hard cuts to them like sleeping together in his
Yeah,
room.
and she's CIA, right?
I guess I don't remember that. I just remember after that scene she goes and kills some guy.
Right, and then she disappears from the movie.
Right?
I think
Until yeah, until like the
she's
third
CIA.
act.
So she's an original character in this movie.
Mhm.
It's not her strongest performance. That's Attack of the Clones.
I couldn't say because she barely performed, you know?
Right.
She
She's
barely
also
did
not in
anything.
Attack of the Clones.
Right? I don't know why you keep saying that.
Man, what is Halle Berry good in?
Not X-Men.
Not Daredevil.
Well, she's not in that.
Right. That's Garner. What's her name? She's
Jennifer Garner?
she. What is Halle Berry a psyop?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, she's been in stuff. I don't know
But has she
what,
been
but
good in anything?
I don't
Is
know.
Halle
Couldn't
Berry in The
tell you.
Matrix? No.
Nope.
What?
Jamie, pull up Halle Berry movies.
I can't. I legitimately cannot think of anything Halle Berry is just good in. But anyway, they liked her
Something
so
probably.
much that when they wrote her character for this movie, they immediately were like, "We're gonna make a spin-off movie with her," and they
Right.
didn't.
Apparently.
Um, she's a CIA agent. She's the Felix Leiter of
Right.
this.
Halle Berry is a psyop.
We missed in the last movies, because we're kind of doing for each of these, we're doing an overview of each Bond.
Mhm.
Felix Leiter was of course in the last movie, who's James
Right,
Bond's
right.
CIA friend. It's Jeffrey Wright in Casino Royale and so on.
Sure.
And in the Brosnan movies, because Felix is dead, but he's not, but
No,
he is.
he didn't die. He just lost his leg, but
They replace him with this guy who's James Bond's CIA friend, who's awesome.
mhm.
And he's kind of a mix of Felix Leiter and Sergeant J.W. Pepper,
Ah, Sergeant Pepper and his Lonely Hearts Club Band.
in that he's got a real thick country accent and he keeps referring to James Bond
Mm.
as Jimbo.
Jimmy.
No, Jimbo.
Jimmy Bo.
He's not in this one, and they kind of write he's CIA, so they kind of write him out and replace him
Sure, sure. With
with
sexy
Halle
lady for
Berry.
James Bond to sleep with, right,
And
right.
I don't know, like I get it. James Bond's got to have women to sleep with. That's James Bond. I don't like Halle Berry in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I thought she was fine. She just kind of was barely a
She's
character, you
fine, but
know?
she's nothing.
Right.
And that's just disappointing, I guess. I don't know.
Sure,
That's how I
yeah.
feel about this whole movie. It's just kind of disappointing, I guess. I don't know.
Right, right.
Um, what happens next, though, is the question.
I don't know. Something with M. Judi Dench is
Oh
there.
yeah,
She does
James Bond
something,
decides he's going back to MI6 at this point.
right?
And he goes and he talks to M. We're introduced to Monty Penny, who it's her third movie. Um, she's been Monty Penny through the Dalton movies on. Basically, they kind of
No,
recast
she
Monty
wasn't.
Penny.
She wasn't in. This is not the same Moneypenny from the last movie we watched. I assure you, it's not.
She's in one of the Dalton movies, one of the
It would be
two.
super because we watched the
The
Dalton
second
movie we
one,
watched
yeah,
last year was the second, or last week was the
last
second one,
year.
and
I haven't
last
showered
year.
since last year.
Yeah, I haven't showered since last year, guys. This was not the same woman from that. She was way badder than the one last week. Not as bad as the OG one,
Well,
but
no, and well, I mean, it's not a
no,
matter
who
of
could be?
bad. It's a matter of grip.
Okay.
I'm doing a quick search. I wanna
Pull it up.
figure this out.
I will be very surprised if this was the same woman from last week. She must have gotten like a nose job or something. Like,
That could be true. Yeah,
but she didn't look the same. And I don't think it was just the haircut because I know that was a big thing. She had shorter hair in this,
yeah.
but
She had to.
yeah.
Gonna leave that there. Not gonna say anything.
Yeah. Um but yeah, we see her briefly. I don't think she interacted with Jimmy at this point. She's just talking to like Q or M. But um something happens, man. I don't know. It's I got a blank for like the middle of this movie. I may have to.
Okay, so it was. So Monty Penny has been played by four actresses.
Oh, she was an NSA agent. That's what Halle Berry was.
Yeah. So there was.
Agent Jacinta Jinx Johnson was Halle
It
Berry's
was a
name.
different woman.
Yeah, see, I thought so.
Yeah, there was someone who played her in the Brosnan movies. Samantha Bond is her name, which is awesome.
Really, that's crazy.
And then Caroline Bliss played her in the Timothy Dalton movies.
Hmm.
Um, that's interesting. They look so similar, dude. I'm looking at
I
pictures right
didn't think
now,
they.
and they're just like
I didn't think they looked similar at all, but
so similar. But anyway, also, man, that she's giving Nancy Pelosi. That's all I have to say. If you know what I mean. And
okay.
if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. I'm about to send a picture to you, and you'll get it. Do you have the plot synopsis still pulled up, or
Yeah.
okay?
It's
Yeah,
not
that's
helping much,
okay.
but
Monty
so
Penny.
where are we? Yeah, something with
Yeah, so James Bond goes
who's
back
Money
to M.
Penny?
This is when he gets sent at first to the ice castle.
Right. He gets his James Bond status back,
Double O
and
status. He has
then
his license to kill.
right.
Although I don't think
Right,
he
he can
kills
kill
anyone in
people.
this movie.
Surely he kills someone. No, at the end he kills Whiteface guy.
Well, that's true. Yeah, yeah. We'll get
I mean,
there.
barely, but we'll get there. Yeah, it was more gravity that killed him, but
And
um,
plane, the way planes work.
right, the yeah. So I guess yeah, Bond he discovers that Whiteface evil James Bond, whose name is Gustav Graves. That was his name.
Gustav.
He apparently only started existing a year prior. And he had apparently discovered some diamonds in Iceland, leading to his current
And
wealth
Iceland
and
looks
status.
like Greenland.
Right? Yeah, it's clearly not Iceland. It's clearly more like Greenland or just
The
the Arctic.
Arctic,
Like, yeah,
Canada, like northern
and
Canada,
literally anywhere other than
northern
Iceland. But
Russia. Yeah, it's very icy, which is very Greenland of it. Um,
Um, but then he I guess invites Bond to quote unquote Iceland for this this demonstration of something. This is when we get Q, which is the new Q who sucks,
it's
and
yeah,
he and we get
it's what's his name?
John Cleese.
John Cleese. That's it. He doesn't suck.
He's okay. He's no old Q
It
is the
well,
thing.
it just stinks because this is the last of, and we haven't even really talked about that, but Bond is such a long-running franchise. And for the
Right,
longest
right,
time, literally until 2002, which is only 24 years ago, Bond was
right. Crazy.
a single running franchise. Meaning from
Hmm.
62 to 2002, 40 years,
Yeah,
it was a single continuity. Now continuity wasn't that important back in the day, and
sure. I mean, in that time, there were what, five different actors like
right, well, five different
playing
actors
James
playing
Bond.
Bond, not to mention like Blofeld and
Oh,
whatever.
sure, yeah, three different ones
Three
in a
different
row.
Blofelds, three movies in a row.
Hmm.
And so like continuity wasn't that
But
important.
throughout that, it had been the
One Q.
same
Every
the same
Monty,
cue, yeah.
and
And up
three
until
Monty pennies.
Dame Judy Dench, it was the same
No,
M as well.
three different
Two
M's.
M's, three different M's. Really, I thought it
Very
was the
generic
same. So
looking British guys, so they all look
okay,
the
I guess
same.
they all look the same to me. Yeah,
Um,
I mean, all white people look the same to me. Shit.
different M's, three different Monty pennies, five different
Right, but
Bonds.
until the Dalton ones, it was all the same
Yeah,
Money
but I'm
Penny.
just going, I'm just
But
going.
sure, yeah.
One Q. He had stayed
Right.
stuck around Desmond something.
OG, dude. He was
And it was his health, right? That was the reason he
sure.
couldn't keep doing
He
it.
was
And
what's the guy that played Alfred throughout the Michael
Michael
Goh, who played
Go, yeah,
Alfred
right.
in
Like
all
the
the
anchor, to be
throughout
honest.
four different or three different Bruce Wayne actors. Michael Goh was the standing, and Pat Hingle played Commissioner Gordon in all of
Yeah,
those
that's
too.
true.
Shout
Yeah.
out Pat Hingle.
Which sucks. The worst Commissioner Gordon could not get rid of that
Oh,
guy.
yeah.
Um, we'll do those movies eventually.
We'll get there. Yeah.
But this is the last of a 40-year franchise at this point. We don't we
Mhm.
to be honest, like in a modern perspective, we can't wrap our minds around what a 40-year franchise looks like.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I mean,
Like
fucking yeah.
think of
What's
something that
40
premiered in
years
two.
ago?
I mean,
It's
I guess that would be
fucking 86, dude.
1986 and still
What's yeah?
running constantly. Like, and we're not
What is
talking
that?
like
There's nothing.
we're not talking about
Yeah.
legacy sequel. We're talking about it's been going the whole time.
Right. There's nothing. There's nothing to
Nothing.
compare that to on a modern standard. Yeah.
Um, and the one anchor in all of it was Q, and
Mhm.
he because of his health he couldn't appear in this movie.
Right. Which sucks. You can't be mad at that
And
too.
now
That's
I
the
will
worst
say his
part.
last movie, the movie before this one, they introduced John Cleese, and Q has a
Mhm.
really great exit where he like disappears on a platform, and it's really cool.
Okay.
Um, it just stinks that he couldn't have been in this, so he could have completed the
Right.
original James Bond run. Like that would have been not just for him, but for the audience, for the franchise. Like that just would have been really cool. But we get John Cleese. He's fine. Um, he feels very much like he's playing the part of the original Q. John Cleese is a very funny actor. He's very comedic.
Sure. Yeah.
And he's not super funny in this. Um, because it's not really a funny role, but it was funny because of the interaction that the original actor had. But yeah, it's weird that this movie is, and I don't think they knew that when they were making it, but it's very much the end of an era.
Right.
And we've kind of seen that, like, as we're watching these movies, like, we've seen that original era of Bond in a way, and now we're just watching it end, you know? And that's
Yeah.
it's bittersweet.
It's sad to see,
So James
it's
Bond, he kind of has his thing with Q. They introduce the gadgets. It's the classic,
we get the they he gives him the invisible car, which
right?
he uses once later, but
He
he
uses it
gives
a
it to
couple
him then.
times, I think. It's
I only
stupid,
remember the
but
one time. It was
well, you
dumb.
couldn't see
I
it.
remember more. Oh, right. I remember more importantly than the invisibility was the spikes that shot out of the tire that gave him
Yeah,
traction on the ice. That was
right, right,
awesome.
right. He gets his gadgets. He goes to the Ice Palace to meet with
He goes to
Diamond Face.
Iceland. This is when we find out the bad guy device, which is some big orbital satellite called Icarus,
Icarus,
which
which is the
is
name of the ship in Moonraker.
right. But in this,
It's a
it's
satellite.
something that
It's not a ship. It's a satellite.
it's a satellite that shoots a big laser or something.
It makes the sky look like diamonds.
Right, which really just means it shoots a big laser.
I yeah, and I don't know. I mean, it's a big laser, but I don't know what damage it's supposed to do. Maybe
I mean,
that's where I
it
really.
seemed like it was fucking some shit up. I don't really know what, but it was like there were some explosions when it was hitting.
Mm,
Like I remember a lot of explosions at the end when it was like shooting down. So,
that's true. Yeah. But you
but
you you want to, at this
this
point
is
in the
when
movie, we're
we're
like halfway through. You really want to know what the bad guy's plan is so that you know not to root for them?
right,
At
right,
this point in
sure,
world history, I want to know what the bad guys do. You know, I don't know who the good guys and bad guys are anymore. You know, I want to know who I'm
sure,
supposed to
sure.
root for.
We need a clear cut villain, yeah.
Right.
But this is, I think, when we're reintroduced to Jinx, which is Halle Berry.
Right. That's her name.
She's breaking into the Ice Palace.
Because she's CIA.
Um,
CIA's after the same thing
and
MI6 is.
NSA. It's
Oh,
NSA,
she's with
but
the NSA. Okay.
yeah,
They're after the same thing that MI6 is. So Bond's there. She's there. They're going after
right,
that. Surely they'll team up.
right. Surely they'll sleep together because it's James Bond and she's
Well,
a
they already
woman.
did at this point.
Right, right. I forgot. Yeah. Surely they'll sleep together again, while covered
Right.
in diamonds, and it'll be horribly uncomfortable. But we'll get there. So she gets captured,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and Jimmy saves
She will
her.
end up underwater. I don't know how.
Right. Um,
Jimmy Beast.
Jim and Bimin, well, because it's Korean.
12 minutes.
Jimin's a
We've
Korean.
only got to make it 12 more minutes, man.
Okay, that's not bad. Let me pull this summary up. Okay, infiltrate, captured. Okay, Zhao, is that
That's
Laserface?
Diamond
No,
Face.
that's
Yeah.
Diamond Face. Okay, yeah, Zhao's going to kill her. Then Bond rescues her, discovers that Graves is Colonel Moon,
Colonel Mustard
who has Colonel Mustard,
on
who
that
has used
beat.
gene therapy technology to change his appearance and amassed a fortune from conflict
Yes.
diamonds as a
And
cover.
and
And
so
this
this is where it's revealed that the man, the one who wanted to be knighted, better James Bond, more handsome James Bond,
right
is
is
actually
actually the son of the the general from the beginning,
He
right?
he is real Diamond Face, right?
Right.
Diamond
Well,
Face
not
was
really, because he
fake.
doesn't have diamonds
Well,
in his
no, but
face.
but he's the
That
man
guy, that
who.
guy, that guy was the real Diamond Face because he had diamonds in his face. But
Right,
he was
fair.
who they,
It's a
who we thought. I don't think it was meant to be a bait and switch. I don't think we were meant to think that that guy
well, the guy
was the
who
son.
got
I
the
don't like.
diamonds.
I don't think we were supposed to think Diamond Face was that guy's
No, well, the
son.
guy who got the diamonds exploded in his face in the beginning was the son of the general.
Was he? Well,
Yeah, man.
he didn't. Did he get diamonds exploded in his face, or did he just fall off a cliff and
Well,
die?
that was after, but yes, at the beginning in the intro, he got
Okay.
diamonds. The briefcase full of diamonds that James Bond had got exploded in his face. Like it was it was supposed to be a bait and switch for sure.
Okay.
And this is
I'll take
the
your word for that. And if you're wrong, then you're racist.
right.
So
That's
I'm
fair.
cool.
But
I'm
this
cool with
that
that.
makes this a triple bait and switch. Because at the beginning, James Bond gets
Where's the
traded.
triple?
Well, at the beginning, James Bond gets
I can
traded
see
for
double
Diamond
bait and
Face,
switch.
and that's
Yeah.
one.
How's that a bait and switch?
Because it's not the real Diamond Face. It's fake, quote unquote, fake Diamond Face.
Well, but that's not a bait and switch until later.
No, well,
So
but
that's
that's
just
but
a
that's not the Diamond Face that's in this movie. Because that guy's got hair. Like that's a fake Diamond Face. Diamond Face, who we're introduced to a little
right.
later
Real Diamond Face
on.
is bald.
Right,
Yes.
is quote unquote real Diamond Face. He turns out to be fake Diamond Face,
Okay.
and then White Guy is the real Diamond Face. So that's a triple bait and switch on this character. Another reason why I hate this movie. That's too many
Sure.
baits and too many switches.
I yeah. I still don't know that it was meant to be that many bait and switches. I think it was I think you might just be racist and they were just all Asian.
Maybe,
But I
but
digress.
the guy who
Either
they've been
way,
chasing, the guy who they've been chasing,
the
is the
main
son
bad
of the
guy,
general.
yes, which is Graves, better James
Right,
Bond.
which is whiter
Colonel
James
Moon,
Bond.
right? Whiter Asian James Bond.
But was also supposed to be Diamond Face. So either way,
I wasn't paying enough attention to know that he was supposed to be Diamond Face.
mm,
I'm taking that at your face value, which I don't trust because you're drunk.
that's fair.
but
Yeah,
but I'll digress.
I wasn't while we
I'll
were
either
watching the movie.
maybe I was,
I
so maybe
was
that's the problem.
so. Um,
um okay, so they they think Bond is dead. Then he
oh,
comes back
I
in
don't remember that.
his I don't, but this is according to the summary. He comes back in his stealth car
Stupid stealth car.
to rescue Jinx, who has been betrayed by
Right.
Frost. Who is Frost?
Frost is hairpick.
Oh, right, Colin Salmon, Blacked.com. Right.
Right. Right.
Um
No, I think
yes.
hairpick was a different person, but I think you're right.
Either way,
Doesn't matter. None of this matters. This is a
it
stupid
it don't
podcast.
matter. Um then Graves, aka Colonel Moon, son of
AKA
the
Colonel
general, he
Mustard.
Colonel Mustard 67 on that Tua thing. He activates Icarus, which is his big space laser. Zhao, who is Diamond Face, but maybe not the real Diamond Face, chases after Bond. Bond kills him by dropping the chandelier on him and Swiss
Oh,
cheesing his
yes.
ass.
Yes.
I
I
remember
call her
that.
Chandelier.
Right. I call her chandelier. I call it his and hers. Then he says he puts Jinx in the hot springs to or
To
saves
thaw
her
her,
from it.
yeah.
Yeah.
She's got hypothermia
Then
'cause she's been in freezing water.
then they stow away on the plane, and this is when we get into the real end of it.
The
The
third act, which
real
is fine. It's not as good
Yeah,
as last week's, but last week
this
was
is
the
when
greatest third
on
act in
the
film
yeah, it's
history.
there's not nothing can compare to it. But this one, this is when on the plane is Graves' father, or Colonel Mustard's father, the general of North Korea.
Well, his father was a gamer.
Right, his father was a mustard.
672 on that thing. My father was a 672 on that thing.
So he tells his father that he's actually
He
alive,
tells
and
his father
he's
he's a
actually
gamer.
he's actually white, and his dad's like, no freaking
And
way,
he doesn't
dude.
believe him. He threatens him
What
with a
the frick?
gun.
Yeah, he tries to kill him. Yeah, and then he oh yeah, well, because he had betrayed, like he was trying to go against North Korea.
Right, right,
That was
right.
why he either faked his death or did this whole thing, because
He
he was
did. Yeah,
trying to
he thought he was bigger and better than North Korea.
he was trying to use the laser um to destroy the demilitarized zone in North Korea, and or between the two Koreas, and to let North Korea invade South Korea and trigger World War III or whatever.
He was trying
Which,
to out
I mean, come
Korea
on,
Korea.
you really think another Korean War is going to be World War III? Like, that's just Korean
Right.
War II.
Nobody cares about
Let's
Korea,
be
dude.
real.
If
Like,
you
I
don't
mean,
live in Korea,
I'm not saying no one cares about Korea, because we got involved in the first Korean War. Like,
but
America
that was
was
a
involved in
long
that.
time ago, dude.
Sure, but and clearly in this, at least the NSA and
Well, I guess
MI6 would have
and to
been
be fair, the
slightly
Korean War would
involved
have been
in.
fresher in the minds of the original audience of this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been like, what, 30, 20 years ago.
When was the Korean War?
I don't fucking know, dude.
90? Was it early 90s?
I was thinking like 70s or 80s,
Oh, maybe. You could be right. I don't know.
but either way, it was it doesn't matter. The point is,
Nobody cares about the
another Korean
Koreans.
War does. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm
Not
saying
the
another.
people specifically, but the
I'm saying, shut
governances.
up. I'm saying another Korean War does not equate to World War III.
Well, fair. Yeah, no Korean War has.
Well, there's only been one,
Right. Well, I mean, there's been
but
probably more.
there's one that we consider the Korean War because we as
Right,
Americans
right,
were
right, right, right,
involved
right,
in.
right, right, right.
That's what I mean. We're
Right.
Americans. We're talking from an American standpoint,
Right. Yeah.
and to the extent of this movie, a British standpoint, because it's British and
A
Americans
Western
working to
standpoint.
a Western standpoint. Yeah. So
So
um
white Asian diamond face gets thrown into the propeller of the airplane.
right after, well, I think, yeah,
James.
well, first white Asian face shoots his dad, he kills him.
Right.
Then because he didn't like the plan, because it went against Korea and was going to be bad.
Which is fine. It's fine that he kills his
Sure,
dad because he's
I
Korean.
guess.
Yeah, he's North Korean specific. We should specify.
Right, it's the bad Korea,
It's
so
out
it's
of the two
fine. Yeah.
Koreas, it's the bad of the two.
But yeah, then Bond fights him. There's this little duel fight.
It's a
We're
repeat
introduced
of
to the
earlier.
one lady who he slept with earlier. Is She was actually MI6 agent who was actually working for White Diamond
Yeah,
Face,
I
I
mean she's a
think.
traitor. Yeah, she's working for the Korean government.
Yeah, and she fights at some point before this.
She
little
fights Halle
setup.
Berry, yeah.
Well, but before this, someone references the art of war. I think it's White Diamond Face
I
to his
think the book
dad
is literally
before
just
he
like
kills
sitting on
him.
the,
Well,
yeah.
we see it later. It keeps cutting to it, and then the one knife goes into it, and then someone stabs one of them. Halle Berry stabs it with her sword as she's sword fighting White Bond chick, and then she stabs her with the
And while we were
book.
watching it, I could not differentiate Art of War and War and Peace in my mind, so I was
Right.
confused as
That
to
explains
why
your, yeah. You
the
kept saying
book
yeah,
was
it's a
so
really big book.
small,
Yeah.
but I was
That
thinking
makes
of War
sense.
and
Yeah.
Peace. Yeah.
Right. That explains that. Yeah. But yeah, it's cutting between these two fight scenes with the women fighting each other and the men fighting each
It
other.
was of the
The
era.
women, sure. The women one ends with woman getting stabbed with Art of War. Men one ends with cooler James Bond getting thrown out of plane, or well,
I would he's
he's
not
about to
cool or
not
James
cool.
Bond.
He's whiter James Bond,
Whiter
whiter
James
Asian
Bond.
face James
Yeah.
Bond, but he Asian or white facer James Bond. He's about
Whiter,
to
more Asian James Bond.
sure. He's about to jump out of the plane. He's like he's doing the classic villain thing where he's like, haha, I've got you. I've got the only parachute. You're gonna die now. Haha. And then James Bond just pulls his parachute for him, and it pulls him
Which is
out
pretty
the plane.
awesome. Yeah.
It's sick, yeah, and it like drags him into the engine, which makes the plane crash, and then Halle Berry and James Bond get on the
They
helicopter, which
bone.
also I guess just has all the diamonds from earlier on it.
Yeah,
Like they're just
well, the
all on the
briefcase,
helicopter.
yeah.
Oh yeah, the briefcase they take, but then it just shows them like they're just all just in the helicopter. Then they land and they pork and they've got all the
Right.
diamonds
They
strewn about them, and it seems horribly
bone.
uncomfortable. And then the
Man,
movie
yeah,
sort
could
of
you
just ends.
Yeah, it does. Man, this movie sucks.
It's yeah, it's not good, but it's fun. I liked it.
It's fun, but I the
Fun. This is
the other
case in
James
point that
Bond
a
movies we've
fun movie
seen,
does not equal a good movie.
well, the other James Bond movies we've seen are both good and fun.
Sure. Yeah.
And even like The Man with the Golden Gun is the one I keep coming back to because it's kind of the worst one we've seen.
Well,
And
it was very similar in that we were struggling to follow the plot until the very end when it was the the
when it
full
was
plot
laid
of the
out
movie,
to us, yeah.
and it was a very similar it wasn't a space laser in that, but it was some kind of like big thing where it's
It
like,
was an
oh
island laser, yeah.
yeah, it was a
But
laser, it was
what I
some
more
kind of
mean is like
bullshit,
that is kind of seen as one of the worst Bond movies.
really.
And that movie's awesome.
Yeah, that was fun.
Like it's nothing compared to this. That this is like Bobbin kept referring to it as the Batman and Robin of Bond, like that was a
Right.
good
And
thing.
he was saying that as a compliment, and I agree with it, but I don't think Dalton does.
Well, no, I like Batman and Robin much better than I like this movie.
Okay.
Um,
And that's saying something because you don't love Batman
I
and
don't
Robin, do you?
dislike I like Batman Forever a lot
I mean,
more, but
Batman Forever is much better,
we'll
but
get
I
there when
do
we get to
also
Batman
but
Sweep.
Batman and Robin, it's got a much different sauce than Batman Forever.
I think the thing about it is when you watch the last of a Bond movie in that actor's tenure, Bond has a
Hmm.
really great way of
Yo,
kind
he
of
did this shit for 10 years.
yeah. Every time Bond starts to get stale, it reinvents itself.
Sure.
And I will say, by the time it got to this movie, it was desperately in need of reinvention.
Right.
And
And
it
they did that
happened.
4 years later.
And the Casino
And then
Royale is
we got
awesome.
cock and ball torture, and it was
Yeah.
great.
And
Mads
it's one of the
Mikkelsen
best Bond
tortured
movies in the
cock and
franchise.
balls.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Same director, maybe? I can't remember. Maybe
really.
no, it's the GoldenEye director who did Casino
That makes
Royale.
more sense. Yeah.
He did the first two Brosnan movies and then came back. But he
Right,
also did
right.
Skyfall, the greatest
Let
Bond
the
director in
sky
history.
fall.
Um, I just
Let it
I don't know,
crumble.
man. It takes it, and it
We
has to,
stand
right?
tall.
It's
Face it
with a
on.
franchise like Bond, you have to take yourself sort of seriously.
Well, sure.
But if you're gonna make a movie this goofy, you can't take yourself this seriously. And that's my problem. I love a bad movie. I love a goofy movie. If you're gonna be this bad and this goofy, take yourself less seriously. And this movie,
That's
it
fair.
doesn't
Yeah.
cross that threshold, and I think that holds
It.
it back a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Watch it for
That's a fair
yourself.
one. Yeah.
See what you think,
Check it
man.
out. It's on Netflix. That's where we watched it because we watch all our movies
Amazon Prime.
legally. It's on Amazon Prime. I think also Netflix,
Is it?
but either one. I think all the Bond
Because
movies are on Netflix right now.
Amazon
No, I
owns.
know, I know they own Bond, but I'm pretty sure all of, if not most of the, and I've said that. Why are you deep throating a hose head?
You heard me.
Okay, I'm pretty sure most of the, if not all the Bond movies are on Netflix, but at least the Connery and Craig ones are. So probably the ones in between. But check it out for yourself. Form your own opinion. You guys like Halle Berry? Oh, I love her. You guys like Black Halle Berry? You guys like Black Sean Penn? Send this to your mom.